Wonder Boy returns version 1.0. Wonder Boy 7, Monster World 0. So reading people who only parrot what others say can make you believe that this is a remake of the first game. The genre is mostly the same, but Call of Duty is not a remake of the Catacomb Abyss 3D, and Wonder Boy Returns is not a remake of Wonder Boy. The story, with a proper intro and ending, is different. The levels are all new, with new settings, and there are more of them, and the bosses are all new. This is Wonder Boy 7, or Wonder Boy 6 if you don't count Monster World 4. So you would think that Wonder Boy Returns Remix is just an enhanced version of this game. But no, Wonder Boy Returns Remix only uses these assets to remake the first Wonder Boy, without all the new and fresh content, and poorly running with significant stuttering both on PC and Switch. And because of that new game, Returns was delisted everywhere but PlayStation Store. Hell, you now find it for PC. I would share, but... So Wonder Boy Returns is a simple platformer where you run and jump through repetitive levels with 4 checkpoints each. Your energy is constantly depleting, and you fill it by picking up food items. The first egg you crack will contain a weapon to deal with 1 to 2 hit enemies. The second can contain an angel serving as temporary immortality or a mobility scooter. And yes, skateboard sucks as much as in the first game. It adds 1 hit point, but it's uncontrollable, and when you will get hit it also will drain some of your energy. A spotted egg contains death, which will drain your energy to a minimum. So the best strategy is to just allow it to, until it goes away, and then to just fill it anew. It's a trial and error game based on pure memorization. But unlike the arcade pay-to-win model, this game implements a level selection and a 3-star meta. Any level you beat opens the next one, so you can start from that the next time. There are 3 dolls per level, and collecting them unlocks the new character or the old skin. Tina differs only with her weapons. Instead of parabolic stone hammers, she throws boomerangs with slightly longer reach, but which have to return before they can be reused. So Boy is better for people who know what they are doing, and Tina often saves you from mistakes, because boomerangs still damage enemies when they return. The game uses the classic crappy control scheme of just 2 buttons for a 4-button game. Considering there are no spikes on the ceiling, the only reason to have separate low and high jumps is skeuomorphism. But also I don't remember any need for the low jump in the first game either. The controls are > still unresponsive and have a delay. I played the PC version on 3080 Ti 10900K PCIe 4.0x4 SSD, while the kinesthetics are still floaty, maybe even more so than in the first game. The game has 40 levels and the variety of enemies and settings is increased. The new backgrounds are village, coral, snowfield, lava, and dungeon. There are many new enemies, and the shooting ones are actually the addition I didn't like. They often attack off-screen, which is annoying with the game's low FOV. And if you run it at 4:3, then your FOV is reduced further. Besides the usual shooting enemies, there are also a couple of places with stationary immortal shooters, so you can't even kill those. There are 3 difficulty levels. The pretty hard easy difficulty, with its 1-hit KO and gotcha placements of the enemies. It's annoying and disheartening in the current year paradigm, but it's manageable. I finished that. You have 10 lives per level, which is barely enough for some difficult ones past the midpoint and not enough for many of the bosses. Even if you memorize the level and arrive to the last checkpoint with all 10, now you have to explore the boss moveset with trial and error. But still, easy means easy, not castrated. This mode has all the levels and all the bosses, while Remix makes you immune to everything but platforming, cuts out the boss entirely, and doesn't show the ending. The only excessive thing the easy does in Returns is unlocks all the levels, so you can go out of order. I beat the final boss before I finished the 6th set of levels, or people who struggle with one of the levels can entirely skip it. The normal difficulty, with its prison rape. The hard difficulty, with its it is not even funny anymore. And there's also the 1-coin mode for boomers on the spectrum, who are so old they can have fun of repeating the one same action to train in it like in a sport for months. People whose brain hasn't yet started to rot at 25 are evolutionary punished with physical pain for trying to repeat the already digested information. It seems the Vsauce video is paywalled, so here's an alternative link. Each level takes just about 3 minutes without retries, but this is not 1600s anymore. Just count how many new TikToks you can watch and fully enjoy while someone near you tries to beat just one level of this game of Sammy levels. I like the new graphics, even if some of the stylization choices are a bit uncanny. The ice caves replaced the statues with dogs for some reason. I like the new cave music. Unlike the first game in the IP, Returns isn't designed to be blatantly unfair and openly hostile. I would call it rather good if I put myself in shoes of the people who like Wonder Boy / Takahashi Meijin no Bokenjima or this type of primitive and challenging trial and error platformers. But for the general public that lives in the modern times without limited lives and scoreboard, and who doesn't want to waste their very limited lifespan on repetition and training in unpaid sports, this is just tolerable. Wonder Boy Returns Remix. More like a demix. First they've created Wonder Boy 7, which had the gameplay of the earlier pre-Monster World games, but then for some reason they decided to use those assets and the engine to somewhat recreate the first game, and called it a remix. In the old version Tina was always easy because chicks—
Am I right, Peter? Am I right?
And the easy difficulty is too easy. You are basically immune to the enemies, and there are no bosses. I've played a chunk of the game on Yuzu. The game is aliased and FPS stutters. Then I've bought it on Steam. It has a better resolution than the Switch version, because that toy can't even run sprites properly. It's the same stupid primitive repetitive boss fights, and the same stupid repetitive levels, with only the amount of enemies changed. The same bad physics and unresponsive floaty controls with extreme inertia. But to compensate for the original scammy design, you at least have 5 lives per each level, not for the entire game. And they've added a charged attack that has a bigger hitbox and can crush a lot of obstacles. You can have 3 projectiles simultaneously, which is a big difference. The FOV is way bigger than in Wonder Boy 7 and all the versions of the first game. They also remade frogs to not suddenly jump with big hitboxes and no animation. Obviously they've removed all the advanced enemies, which are not present in the first game. Before a boss fight, there's a pack of milk refilling all the energy. All of that makes this game way more manageable. It is completable, but the core physics of the jumping emulating the first Wonder Boy prevent it from being too enjoyable. In the current version you can pick the character. Boy has his arching axes, while Tina uses returning boomerangs which fly in a straight line. You still can starve with an angel, and I still don't understand the mushroom. It's in the bad egg, but it turns food into sweets? The story is entirely ruined in the remix. They don't show the opening cutscene, so when they show you the ending cutscene with the devil it makes absolutely no sense. The devil was never involved in this version. It's all King with his collection of heads. The difficulty selection talks about different endings, but the difference is one jokey picture. I've discovered that holding attack button allows you to jump without pressing a direction button, and to run. And yes, it also works in the arcade version. which makes a lot of the game easier. Still, not a good control scheme. The PC port can't run properly on 4:3 screens. If you go full screen, the option menu doesn't work properly, and the picture is either stretched vertically with no option for letterboxing, or renders some graphics outside the screen. The only solution is to run low-res windowed or with 2 screens to leave a part of the window on the second monitor. If they decided to make a new game, which is a remake of the first game reusing the assets of Wonder Boy 7, it's their choice. But what pisses me off is that they delisted Wonder Boy 7 Returns, despite that being an absolutely different game and a new entry into the Wonder Boy IP. Hell, you can find it. Only some used physical copies for PS4 remain, and maybe you somehow can find a cracked PC version.